Hello, everyone. Welcome to Moorhead Public Library's Poplit Book Club. If you're new here, my name is Jessica, and I will be your discussion host. 2020 was a rough year, to say the least, so I decided to start the new year off with a lighter read, which is The Library of Lost and Found by Phaedra Patrick. Written by the author of The Curious Charms of Arthur Pepper, this book is pretty much the definition of a feel-good, cozy read. If you're looking for something quick and charming, then this is a great book for you. So let's get into it. The Library of Lost and Found takes place in a small English town called Sandshift, where our main character, Martha Storm, has lived her entire life. At about 50, Martha's parents have already passed away, and she lives in the family home alone. She's a part-time worker at the local library and busies herself by taking on a huge array of tasks, both directly for her job and for pretty much everyone else in the town. She enjoys the feeling of having helped someone else, but she is often overwhelmed by the amount of work she has taken on, leaving her house in disarray as projects for others pile up around her. Despite her endless altruism, Martha doesn't seem to have any real friends, so much as a large group of acquaintances who take advantage of her. It is just as she's beginning to contemplate her place in the town when our story begins. A bookseller, Owen, leaves a package for her which contains an old book of fairy tales. Inside is a handwritten note for her from her grandmother, Zelda, dated 3 years after her supposed death. Martha was very close to Zelda growing up, and she's a bit desperate for a friend. So she decides to take on the mystery of what actually happened to her grandmother. As Martha goes on her adventure, we are introduced to those around her reading group, her younger sister, and Owen. We are also walked through the memories of both Martha and her mother, who has had a large influence on who she is. Martha's parents, Betty and Thomas, had a complicated relationship. Martha's sister, Lillian, is very much like Thomas, straightforward, stern, and much more concerned with facts than fun. Martha, meanwhile, is a lot like Betty, timid and meek and yearning for a creative outlet. Thomas also never liked Zelda, which created a wedge between the two sides of the family. These memories give the reader a real feeling for who Martha is as a person, especially alongside the fairy tales in the mysterious book, which we find out were all written by Zelda, Betty, and Martha herself. When she finds out that Zelda is, in fact, still alive, she's left with many more questions whose answers are more complicated than she could have ever expected. The novel is largely a contemporary family drama. While the events that make up the drama are quite sad, Patrick doesn't dwell on the negatives. Instead, she creates a sweet story by focusing on themes of self-improvement through discovery, acceptance, and inner strength. Martha has spent most of her life letting others define who she is, but finally, she's able to find out what she wants for herself and take it. She's also able to reflect on her past and move beyond it to ensure a happier future for herself. While there isn't a lot of depth in the novel, Martha's story invites the reader to also practice introspection if there is something in their life that they would like to change. The novel acknowledges that that is not an easy task, but it's possible and necessary for true fulfillment in life. Since this is cozy fiction, there's not much else to dive into without going through the whole plot. So here are your discussion questions. Feel free to answer any of these or give your other thoughts in the comments below. When we meet Martha, she defines herself by the things that she does for other people. Do you think that she was truly happy or fulfilled doing this? Do you think that she will go back to volunteering for so many tasks? Do you think that Zelda and Thomas went out of their way to aggravate each other? Or do some people just clash more than others? How could they have handled their relationship better? Betty had to make the terrible decision to choose between her mother and husband. What might have happened if she'd made the opposite decision, to stand by Zelda instead of Thomas? Many people withheld information from Martha. Did you agree with their reasons for doing so? And do you think that Martha would have lived her life differently had she known those things? Some of Martha's fairy tales are featured in the book. What is your own favorite fairy tale, in this book or otherwise, and why? The Library of Lost and Found was quite a cute book, and while it's not the type of book that I normally read, I would definitely recommend it to anyone who enjoys cozy novels. Martha was a sweet character, and her development throughout the story, along with the way the other characters were written, was pretty realistic. If you would like to read this book, you can order a physical copy from us at the library, or you can get a digital copy through Overdrive. The digital audiobook is also available through Hoopla. Whether you're reading a book club book or something else, make sure you check out our winter reading challenge, Book Blizzard. You can get a physical entry form from us at the library, or you can also enter and keep track of your reading through Beanstack. Info on that can be found on our website, and I will have a link for you to that in our description. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next month for our discussion of The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Happy reading!